Imagine a guy who's been beat down by life, barely keeping his head above water, finding a wallet full of money on a cold, wet street. Most people would be tempted to keep it, especially when they're drowning in bills. But this dad? He does something most of us wouldn't even consider, and what happens next is so wild, it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about kindness, fate, and second chances. This isn't just a story about a lost wallet, it's about a single dad fighting for his kid, a billionaire who seems too good to be true, and a moment that'll hit you right in the heart. You're gonna want to stick around to see how this all plays out. Trust me, it's a roller coaster you won't see coming. Let's paint the picture. Meet James Carter, a 34-year-old single dad living in a cramped, drafty apartment in Cleveland, Ohio. James isn't the kind of guy you'd notice in a crowd. He's not out there chasing fame or fortune. He's just trying to make it through the day without everything falling apart. He's got a 7-year-old daughter, Mia, who's his entire world. To keep a roof over their heads, James works 2 grueling jobs, days at a warehouse, hauling boxes until his back screams, and nights cleaning offices, mopping floors while the city sleeps. He's the guy who checks his bank account before buying a $2 coffee, because every cent is a choice between groceries or gas. 5 years ago, James's life looked different. He was married to Sarah, his high school sweetheart, the kind of woman who could light up a room with her laugh. They had plans, maybe a bigger house, another kid, a vacation they'd been saving for. But then life threw a punch they couldn't dodge. Sarah was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It hit like a freight train, sudden and brutal. They fought it together, chemo, radiation, late-night hospital stays, but the bills piled up faster than they could pay. Sarah passed away 3 years ago, leaving James with a heart full of grief, a mountain of debt, and Mia, who still crawls into his bed some nights, asking why mommy's not coming back. He doesn't talk about it much, but you can see it in his eyes, red, tired, like he's carrying a weight that never gets lighter. It's November 2024, and Cleveland's getting slammed with one of those miserable, bone-chilling rains. James is trudging home from his night job, his cheap jacket soaked through, his sneakers squishing with every step. His mind's a whirlwind. Mia's with a neighbor because he can't afford a babysitter, the electric bill's overdue by $200, and Mia's school shoes are so worn out the soles are flapping. He's calculating how many shifts he'll need to cover rent when he spots it, a black leather wallet, half submerged in a puddle on the sidewalk. It's nothing fancy, just a beat-up thing, but it's swollen like it's stuffed to the brim. James stops dead in his tracks. His first thought is, whoever lost this is probably losing their mind right now. He picks it up, wipes the water off on his sleeve, and opens it. Inside, there's a driver's license, a couple of credit cards, and a stack of cash, hundreds, maybe thousands. His heart starts racing. For a moment, he lets himself imagine keeping it. That money could clear the electric bill, get Mia those shoes, maybe even buy a Christmas tree this year instead of the tiny plastic one they've been reusing. But then he shakes his head, like he's shaking off a bad dream. This isn't mine, he thinks. I can't do that to someone. He flips to the driver's license. The name's Marcus Reed, and the address is in Shaker Heights, a ritzy part of town James has never set foot in. He knows what it's like to lose something that matters. Years ago, he had to pawn his wedding ring to cover one of Sarah's hospital bills, and every time he looks at his bare finger, it's like a fresh cut. So, instead of heading home to his warm bed, James makes a choice that changes everything. He gets in his beat-up Honda, the one with the check engine light that's been on for months, and drives 20 minutes out of his way to a gated mansion that looks like it belongs in a Hollywood movie. He's nervous, standing there in his dripping jacket, clutching the wallet like it's a lifeline, but he rings the doorbell anyway. The door swings open, and there's Marcus Reed. He's in his late 50s, tall, dressed in a suit that probably costs more than James's car. Marcus is a billionaire, owns tech companies, has his name on skyscrapers, the kind of guy who could lose a wallet full of cash and not blink. But when James hands him the wallet, Marcus's face shifts. He's not just grateful, he's stunned. He invites James inside, offers him a coffee, and starts asking questions. Why'd you bring it back? You could have kept the money. No one would have known. James shrugs, his cheeks flushing. It's not mine. And I've got a daughter. I want her to know her dad's the kind of guy who does the right thing, even when it's hard. Marcus just stares, like he's trying to figure out if James is some kind of unicorn. They talk for a while, about Mia, about James's 2 jobs, about how he's been scraping by since Sarah died. James doesn't dress it up or beg for pity. He's just real, raw, like he's too exhausted to pretend life's okay. Here's where the story takes a turn you won't believe. Marcus doesn't just say thanks and send James on his way. He leans forward, his voice steady, and says, I want to help you and Mia. I'm setting up a trust fund for her education, $100,000, fully paid. And I want to give you a job at one of my companies. A real job, with benefits, so you don't have to kill yourself working 2 gigs. James's jaw drops. He thinks it's a joke, like someone's about to pop out with a camera and yell, "You've been pranked." But Marcus is dead serious. He says, "You didn't just give me my wallet back. You gave me back my faith in people. Let me do this for you." Can you even imagine what's running through James's head? This guy, who's been drowning in debt and grief, suddenly gets a lifeline. It's not just the money, it's hope, something he hasn't felt since Sarah was alive. But it's not all smooth sailing. James is skeptical. He's heard stories about rich folks making big promises they don't keep. And he's got pride, too. He doesn't want a handout, he wants to earn his way. So he looks Marcus in the eye and says, "I'm grateful, but I don't take charity. If I'm gonna work for you, I want to prove I'm worth it." Marcus nods, like he expected nothing less. He sets James up with an interview at his tech company, not for some low-level job, but for a logistics manager position that fits James's warehouse experience. The salary? $85,000 a year, with health insurance and paid vacation. For James, it's like hitting the jackpot, but better, because it's not luck, it's a chance to rebuild his life on his terms. Life doesn't just hand you a fairy tale ending, though. James starts the job, and it's a whole new world. He's surrounded by people with Ivy League degrees, slick resumes, and tech terms he's never heard before, like supply chain optimization and ERP systems. He feels like a fish out of water, like he accidentally wandered into a room full of rocket scientists. And then there's Mia. She's over the moon about their new apartment, no more leaky pipes or creaky floors, but school's a different story. Some kids start picking on her, whispering that her dad's just a warehouse guy who got lucky. James overhears one kid say, "Your dad's only here because he found some rich guy's wallet." It's like a knife to the gut, but he doesn't let Mia see how much it hurts. At work, James picks up on the side eye from some coworkers. They don't say it outright, but he hears the murmurs, that he's only there because Marcus felt sorry for him. It's like he's got to work twice as hard just to prove he's not a charity case. And then there's the guilt gnawing at him. James lies awake at night, thinking about all the other single parents out there, struggling just like he was. Why does he get this break? What makes him so special? It's a heavy load, and it starts to wear him down, like a backpack full of bricks he can't put down. James isn't the type to quit, though. He's got Mia to fight for, and that's enough to keep him going. He starts staying late at work, poring over logistics manuals and watching YouTube tutorials on his phone until his eyes burn. He's not book smart, but he's got grit, the kind that comes from years of pushing through when life keeps saying no. He jots down notes, asks a younger coworker to explain terms like blockchain integration, and slowly, he starts to get it. He's not just keeping up. He's actually good at this. His boss, a no-nonsense woman named Carla, notices. One day, she pulls him aside and says, "James, you're picking this up faster than some of the guys who've been here for years. Keep it up." It's the first time in a long time he feels like he's not just surviving, but succeeding. Marcus doesn't disappear either. He checks in every couple of weeks, not like a boss, but like a friend. He asks about Mia, about how James is settling in, about whether the new apartment's working out. One weekend, he invites James and Mia over for dinner at his house. It's not a fancy business thing, just a home-cooked meal with Marcus's wife, Ellen, and their two teenage kids, Lily and Ethan. Mia's shy at first, clinging to James's leg, but Lily takes her to see their pet rabbits, and soon they're laughing and chasing each other around the backyard. James watches, his heart swelling. For the first time in years, he feels like he's not alone, like he and Mia are part of something bigger. The real game changer comes during a big project at work. The company's rolling out a new distribution system, one that's supposed to save millions. But the team's hitting roadblocks, deadlines are slipping, and tempers are flaring. James, who's been quietly observing, sees something the others don't. He remembers a trick from his warehouse days, a way to reroute shipments that cut costs without slowing things down. In a meeting, he speaks up, his voice shaky at first. "What if we adjust the routing algorithm to prioritize regional hubs?" The room goes quiet. Some people roll their eyes, "Who's this guy?" But Carla listens. They try his idea, and it works. The project gets back on track, and James gets the credit. For the first time, he feels like he belongs, like he's not just the guy who found a wallet. But it's not just about work. James starts to rebuild other parts of his life, too. He enrolls Mia in an after-school art program, something he could never afford before. She comes home with drawings, bright, colorful ones of her and James smiling under a big sun. He sticks them on the fridge, right next to a photo of Sarah. He starts going to therapy, too, something Marcus's health insurance covers. It's tough at first, talking about Sarah, about the guilt and the fear, but it helps. He starts to sleep better, to smile more. He even takes Mia to a Cleveland Cavaliers game, their first big outing in years. Watching her cheer, her little face lit up, he feels like maybe, just maybe, they're gonna be okay. Now, here's the moment that'll give you goosebumps. It's 6 months after James found the wallet. Marcus calls him into his office, and James is nervous, thinking he screwed something up. But Marcus has a surprise. He leans back in his chair and says, "James, I'm promoting you to Senior Logistics Manager. It comes with a raise, $120,000 a year, and I'm doubling Mia's trust fund to $200,000. James just stares, his throat so tight he can't speak. His eyes burn, and he blinks hard, trying not to cry. Marcus smiles, not a flashy billionaire smile, but a real one. "You earned this, James. Not because of the wallet, but because of who you are." That night, James takes Mia to their favorite ice cream shop. She's got chocolate smeared all over her face, giggling as she tells him about a new friend at school. James just watches her, his heart so full it hurts. He pulls out his phone and looks at a photo of Sarah, one he keeps in his wallet, not the one he found, but his own, worn and creased from years of carrying it. "We're okay, babe," he whispers. "We're gonna be okay." For the first time since Sarah died, he's not afraid. He's not worried about the next bill or the next crisis. He's got a future, and so does Mia. But the story doesn't stop there. James's choice to return that wallet didn't just change his life, it started a ripple effect. Marcus, inspired by James's honesty, starts a program through his company to help single parents like James. It's called the Second Chance Fund, and it offers job training, childcare support, and scholarships for kids. By August 2025, the program's already helped 50 families in Cleveland alone, with plans to go nationwide. James gets involved, too, mentoring other parents, sharing his story to show them they're not alone. He's not just a guy who got lucky, he's proof that one small act of integrity can change everything. Mia's doing better, too. The teasing at school dies down, especially after she invites some kids to her art show, where one of her drawings wins first place. James is there, cheering louder than anyone, his phone full of pictures he can't stop showing people. He's even started dating again, just casually, a woman from his therapy group who gets what it's like to lose someone. It's not serious yet, but it's a start, a little spark of something he thought he'd never feel again. And Marcus? He and James stay in touch, not just as boss and employee, but as friends. Marcus says James reminded him why he started his company in the first place, not just to make money, but to make a difference. They have dinner every few months, and Mia's practically adopted Marcus's kids as her big siblings. It's not a perfect, storybook ending, life's still messy, and James still has bad days, but it's a new chapter, one he never thought he'd get to write. This story isn't just about a wallet or a billionaire's offer. It's about what happens when you do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. James could have kept that money, and nobody would have known. But he didn't, and that choice set off a chain reaction that changed his life, Mia's life, and even the lives of people he'll never meet. It's not about luck or magic, it's about integrity, about showing up for the people you love, even when life's trying to break you. James didn't just take Marcus's offer and call it a day. He worked his tail off to prove he deserved it, for himself and for Mia. Take a second to think about your own life. Have you ever had a moment where you could have taken the easy way out but didn't? Maybe it didn't lead to a billionaire's offer, but it probably left you with something: pride, peace, maybe a little hope. That's what this story's about. It's a reminder that the choices we make, even the small ones, can send ripples we never see coming. James's story shows us that even when you're at rock bottom, one honest moment can turn your whole world around. If this story got you in the feels, hit that subscribe button for more real-life stories that'll lift you up.